Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with your instant match reaction to Newcastle United winning 2-1 against Tottenham Hotspur down at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Despite everybody seemingly wanting us to get beat, TNT Sports, the officials, and obviously Spurs, we managed to leave London with the points as well. At 6 in a row, this bandwagon keeps on rolling. Another huge week for Newcastle United. We'll get stuck right into this, talk about the key points of the game, talk about the player performances, give you our man of the match, the usual spiel that we do in the post-match analysis. If that's the kind of thing you guys like, smash subscribe, help us get to the next milestone, which is 10K. We flew past 9K in 2024, thanks to all you wonderful people. 10K is the goal for 2025, and we know we can get there, just like we know Newcastle United are class. We are live, as always, today. Jump in the comments. There's loads of you jumping in there already. Mark is in the background doing his button thing to help me get the comments up, so I'll be able to chat and look at the comments at the same time as well. So hopefully this will be a nice one if you are checking us out for the first time to get stuck into. So let's have a look at the lineup today then and see how we lined up. The huge news really in the game about who was going to play centre-half. I never picked this out at all. I didn't think it was going to be the bot man returning, and the bot man was back in the squad. So for the first time in 200 and something odd days, we were able to say we had Bruno in the middle, Isak in attack, and Botman at the back as well. So we were all buzzing with that as well. I was a little bit worried as to how he would handle this game. Spurs have obviously been dominating the headlines in terms of players out, injuries, sickness. You can see they left Son and Maddison on the bench. They were missing loads of players. That centre-back pairing were even touch and go for the game because they had a dicky tummy and all that kind of stuff as well. So everything was talking about Newcastle, going to dominate this game really and win this game by a canter. But as experienced Newcastle fans, as we all know, you never take that as read, do you, as well? And fucking lo and behold, 4 minutes in, Spurs go in front. It's a brilliant cross by Pedro Porro, doesn't get closed down at all, really. And then Dominic Solanke with a really good head in front of the watching England manager, Thomas Tuchel, as well, who looked thrilled to be there on a freezing cold January day, it must be said. He had the cap on, his cheeks were puffed out, his neck was up with his jacket. He looked fucking freezing, much like everybody else. And even Eddie was wearing his big coat, to be fair. Mad Dog wasn't. He was just in the usual attire as well. So I think the perma tan keeps Mad Dog nice and warm in these cold days, to be fair. But they go in front. And it was really interesting because I was wondering how we were going to respond to that. Because we haven't really gone behind in the last few games. And this was always a concern about Newcastle United. Did they fold over? Did they fall, to Spurs, put the foot in the throat, and do they cause us trouble? But Newcastle came straight back into it 2 minutes later. And it was a little bit controversial, I suppose, when you're looking at that. The ball come through. Joe Linton closes it down. It hits Joe Linton's hand. It's down by his side. And then it falls to him. He passes it to Bruno, slips in Anthony Gordon. And it's a tidy finish past the Spurs goalkeeper, Austin, who's making his debut at 25 years old, by the way. You wouldn't think that listening to TNT Sports. You would have thought he was fucking 14, the way they were talking about it. I'll come on to that a little bit more later because that really wound me up about TNT Sports. They were a disgrace today, I thought, with their coverage of the game. But it's a brilliant finish by Anthony Gordon in front of the England manager. Tucks it away in the bottom corner. And we've got a game on our hands. There's no doubt about it at all. It was end-to-end. I think Spurs, for all of their injuries and players missing, I thought they played really, really well. I thought midfield, I thought Bergvall was really good in midfield. He got in amongst it. I was disappointed that Joe Linton didn't maybe rattle him enough. Obviously, the booking he gets kind of curtails his game a little bit there as well. But we really got control of the game when Sandro Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes just went, right, fuck it, give it to us. We're sorting this out. They calmed it down. They used the ball well. Little passes in between them. Little passes out wide as they often do. And they controlled the game from that point of view. And that's when we were very much on top. We had loads of chances beforehand. Gordon gets put through, kind of fluffs his lines a little bit. Murphy puts a lovely ball across. Murphy, again, was really, really good today. More on Murphy in a second. He puts the ball across, and Anthony Gordon screamed for the back stick. Isak pokes his toe out, just misses it in the bottom corner, should really do better. And then a little bit after that, on the 38th minute, we get the chance again. I think it's Tonali through to Murphy. Murphy tucks back inside. Lovely little ball across. And Isak makes the same run again. And Dragusin and him are kind of tussling for the ball. Dragusin gets a toe onto it, but Isak gets the last touch and he rolls it in. And now he's tied with Alan Shearer and Joe Willock for scoring in 7 consecutive games for Newcastle United. That's 14 goals for the season for Alexander Isak. If he can stay fit, I think he's definitely getting past the 20-goal mark. Absolutely. No, Mark's just pulled a comment there, maybe accidentally. We'll get into some comments in a minute. So 2-1 in front at half-time. Spurs are going mad. Everybody's going mad about the handball. It's utter fucking bollocks. It really, really is. Utter bollocks. The ball hits Joe Linton's hand. It's down by his side. I saw Goldbridge wetting his pants about it. I saw Paddy Power wetting their pants about it. All the Spurs fans wetting their pants about it. The Spurs fans wanted this fucking game called off because the players had the shits. That's why you've got a squad of 25 guys. You've got to play the fucking game. If Newcastle had stomach bugs, there's no way we'd have been shouting to call this game off. We'd have been playing the game with whatever reserve team players and youth team players that we had to make up the squad, to be honest with you. So we get on to the second half. Newcastle made a little bit hard work for themselves, I think, in the game. They brought on Maddison, they brought on Son. They had loads of chances. Maddison takes a great shot, misses by a little whisker. Harvey Barnes came on. This is after Anthony Gordon got smashed in the face by Kulusevski, which I don't understand how that's not looked at as a penalty as well. Apparently they did look at it in the VAR and just said no straight away. But Kulusevski runs right into him and he extends the shoulder and he cracks Gordon in the nose and looks like he breaks Gordon's nose and the blood's pissing all over the place. No penalty, nothing at all. Gordon has to go off a little bit later. Barnes comes on. A couple of little Barnes-type moments, but again, just nothing really happening for Harvey Barnes when he's coming on. He's lost that impact sub kind of tag as well, really. But we had a couple of chances. Dubravka makes a couple of really good saves. He looks really good in the sticks. Dubravka, I've got an opinion on what I think about letting him go in January. You won't be surprised to hear that I don't want to do it. But yeah, so we get to the end of the game, and it's 10 minutes injury time, which I can't fucking believe at all, right? Two things I couldn't believe in a matter of seconds. It was 10 minutes injury time. I don't know where the fuck that came from at all, to be honest with you. 10 minutes. Gordon wasn't down that long, and there wasn't any serious injuries for me that made anybody particularly add loads and loads of time on there. So I don't know where the 10 minutes came from, apart from, maybe people not wanting us to win the game potentially. And then Ali McCoist, who I love Ali McCoist. He's one of the best commentators in the game. He's the kind of bloke you love to go for a pint with. But I don't know what he was smoking today about this goalkeeper. This goalkeeper, Brian Austin, was making his debut. 17 years he's been at the football club. The way they were talking about him before the game, I thought he was about 18 years old, right? And he's fucking 25 years old, the bloke. The way they were talking about this guy was like he'd just come out of high school. And you're like, get a fucking grip. He's 25 years old. He's been at the club 17 years. He's worked with countless goalkeeping coaches, top managers like Jose Mourinho, Conte, fucking, Ange now as well. You think Pochettino, what are you talking about? And they gave him man of the match just because he made his debut. It was utter fucking bullshit. My man of the match for the game for Newcastle United, there was loads of good performances right across the pitch, to be honest with you. I think Bruno Guimaraes, again, was outstanding today, imperious at times, the way he was using the ball. Lewis Hall, again, brilliant. Gordon, brilliant again today. Murphy and Isak look sharp. But for me, I'm going to give man of the match to Sven Botman, because Sven Botman has been out for around about 200-odd fucking days, I think it is, nearly a year's worth of injury. And to play 89 minutes in a game that fast-paced, to last that pace, some great blocks. He was a little bit rusty on the goal with Solanke, kind of lost his man a little bit, but he had an 83% passing accuracy. He had 5 clearances, 1 block shot, 2 interceptions, and 4 tackles in that game. And for me, to be out that long and to come into a game as fast-paced as that and to play as well as he did, he deserves man of the match for me. That deserves man of the match. And that right, Mark, the bottom man returns. Let's just hope he went off with an injury. And, it's not a serious one because we need him against Arsenal on Tuesday. He was absolutely fucking sensational today, Sven Botman. Didn't even look like he'd been missing, to be honest with you. To be out that long, loads of players take loads and loads of time to get back to a level. But wow, what a performance by Sven Botman. Let's get into some of your comments here, guys, just looking through there. It's a great comment by Hyperbole throughout the game. How to train your Dragoson. He was crap today. Everyone will blame the bugger, whatever he had, but I just think he's shit. He's like a pound shop Kurgan, in my opinion. A super chat from Graham Ritchie. The ref was shocking, and thanks for your donation, Graham. He was shocking. The ref was really poor. He did let Joe Litton off a little bit with the yellow cards, I must admit. But yeah, for me, I just think that there was some real questionable decisions about that. The handball, not at all for me. Got that one right. Vieira got that one right. That's accidental. Dan Burn gets done for one shortly after. But the difference between Dan Burn is he extends his arms out as the ball bounces up and hits him. And it's not down by his side that Joe Litton was. And I don't understand how these melts can't see the difference between the two just because they want clickbait, really. Big Al says, scrappy game, but I'll take 3 points. Ref is a bloody disgrace. Why didn't Eddie bring Asulu on? That was a weird one. So just before the end of the game, Isak gets a yellow card because he can't understand why people think he's coming off. And I think he was arguing with young Archie Gray. I don't quite know what that was all about. He was arguing with Archie Gray. And then he comes off, he gets a yellow card for the ref for not coming off quick enough, I imagine. And we played with no centre forward, so we sat back in deep. I don't know if this is practice for, digging in deep on Tuesday night. I'm not entirely sure, but it was a little bit weird not to bring on a centre forward, I must admit. It really, really was. Guy says he's confused about how the shoulder barge on Gordon isn't a penalty. I totally agree, mate. I think Kulusevski puts his shoulder out and extends, so I think you've got to look at that again. So if we're going to question that and Spurs are questioning the handball, there we go. We both didn't get one, did we? Chris is saying massive 3 points, not the best performance to say the least, but 3 away points is 3 away points and the first double of the season. I think the thing is as well, Chris, these are the games that we would have lost previously. You can't be playing that free-flowing class football like we did against the likes of Villa, Ipswich, Manchester United all of the time. There is times we're going to have to dig in. Spurs are a decent side, but they're either really good or really shite. There's no happy medium with Spurs. And they were good today in parts, I mean, Pedro Porro putting in some great balls, but what a diving little shithouse he is, by the way. If I'd been playing in a game like that, I'd have been tempted to put my studs right down the back of that little fucking Spanish donkey-looking bastard with his big buck teeth. I'd have nailed him because he was a right little twat today. He really pissed me off, Porro, as good as he is across the ball. Vincent says, terrible officiating, absolutely. Abby's saying, I hope Botman is not injured. Me too, Abby. My God, if he is, I'll be absolutely livid. Uncle Buzzcock saying, proper backs to the wall, performance superb. We've done that again at Spurs in the past, haven't we? And they hate that. They really do. I did laugh that there was a little clip of expression oozing on social media already. I can't wait to see his reaction. He's a funny guy. Me and Mark were talking about this afterwards. He's a funny guy. He doesn't come across as a prick with it. He comes across quite humorous, to be fair. So I will be interested to see his reactions to the game. Kevin saying yet another win and the Spurs Stadium. Isak scores again. He's on fire at the minute. Like I say, 14 goals this season, Kev. You wouldn't put it past him to finish top goal scorer. He's 1 behind Erling Haaland and 4 behind Salah. So if he gets a good game under his belt, maybe gets a hat-trick, he's right in the mix. Paul saying that was squeaky bum time. Ref and officials fucking awful again. They really, really were, mate. Very, very poor. Very, very poor. And not the handball, all of the stuff as well. There's so many challenges went in that I was screaming, is that not a free kick? Is that not a free kick? Even when they hit the post with a chance where Brennan Johnson comes in and hits the post, he's fucking fouled Lewis Hall. A second before that, he's kicked Lewis Hall's legs away from him when he's trying to take the ball out of defence. And he didn't even give a sniff about that. Absolute bullshit. Philip saying, credit to our team for responding that early in the setback. Absolutely, Phil, 100%, mate. And he said he'd happy take a draw at the Emirates in the League Cup semi-final, and then we can beat them at our place. Absolutely. Well, we'll get stuck into that. We'll have a match preview for that, and I'm sure we'll touch on it as well with what's going on Monday night with me and Mark. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. Previously I would have been scared, but I'm looking forward to it. Jordi Ambassador saying, loves my man of match choice. Botman was epic. Absolutely. Arthur says that Dubs was man of match. Hard to disagree with that, Arthur. I think he was class when he had to come into the game. His distribution has been sensational, Dubravka. I wouldn't sell him. Let me know in the comments, guys, what you think. I certainly wouldn't sell him. I think it would be suicide to sell Dubravka this January, unless you've got a goalkeeper coming in and a goalkeeper of real quality. I don't rate James Trafford. A lot of these people, chat manager warriors, going, oh, he's fucking brilliant. Oh, he's great with his feet and all that. He come to the Premier League, he was powder puff. Maybe he's toughened up a bit in the Championship. I don't know, but I wouldn't want Trafford in between the sticks over Dubravka at the minute. I'm sorry, I wouldn't at all. Eddie saying, hi, Chris. How are you? VAR refs should look at the monitor. Anthony Gordon in the box. Yeah, and a penalty for him. Absolutely. Colin is saying, never seen a more biased refereeing in my 50 years of watching football. It did feel that way, mate, did it? It really, really did. William saying, how many potential crosses did Hall block? He was class today, William. He really, really was. Let me have a look. What his blocks were, mate? I've got the old sofa score up here. So Lewis Hall, blocks-wise, weird enough, it says blocked shots is 0. So you can't really see the block crosses on there, mate, but there was plenty, I'm sure about that. Another great performance by Lewis Hall today. Mark is saying, Burn, absolute fucking colossus. He really, really was. The yellow card that he got as well, Mark, he had to do it, but he was really walking a tightrope after that. I was worried this ref was going to send Burn off. So credit to Burn for being so controlled as well in the moment after the yellow card. He had to make that foul. Every centre-half would make that foul as well. Botman, typical Rolls-Royce, ref had the wrong colour shirt on. We keep going, clear pen on Gordon, practically assault. I agree on all those points, mate. I really do. And Roger's saying that near flying karate kick. I think I was at Solanke on Dubs as well, I think it was, wasn't it? But the referee never saw that one, did he, George, to be fair? George is saying I would have been sickened if we'd left less than 3 points. Everyone was out against us, I felt like. We really were. Eddie will never say that, but we'll say that. Lionel Murphy robbed of an assist, as Arthur. Murphy was class again today. Let's have a look at Murphy's stats. I'm sure Mark will have all of the slides ready for Monday for you. But again, with Murphy, 76% passing accuracy in terms of that. Crosses, key passes, 2 key passes in the game as well. He won 2 of his 8 ground duels as well. 2 tackles, 1 interception, 3 clearances. So Murphy, again, just proven his worth, and we've got a theory on what's going to happen with the right wing in January. We've got a few really good linked players, I think, which may be more summer than anything else. But I think Murphy is very, very much, as Phil says, very good again today. Very good. Murphy's maybe proven that potentially the right wing position could wait until the summer, but we could spend a bit more potentially on a real key player. Big Dan Burn, brilliant today, says to coin. Absolutely. So does Tim, BDB. Outstanding. His man of the match. And George agrees. Very, very bad idea letting Dubs go the ghost of Karius Lurks. Yeah, if we get to that cup final again and we have our third choice keeper play, imagine having John Ruddy or Vlachodimos in nets for the Carabao Cup final if we get there. Scary shit. And Jacoin says Livramento and Big Joe class as well. I thought Tino was good again today. Tino looked good today. I thought he was up and down the pitch, in front of the England manager, looked really good. Sometimes his touch lets him down for me in Tino. I just think that's one of the things he really needs to work on in his game, is that touch. Just at the last minute, there was a couple of times where he kind of tried to overrun it and lost it. I think Sandro was quite close to him a lot of the times to try and almost protect them from putting us under pressure and that kind of stuff as well. But yeah, I thought it was absolute class. Stephen Mitchell says BDB is undroppable at the moment. I agree, Stephen. I really, really do. Now that Botman is back, for me, I'd be talking about dropping Share, to be honest with you, out of the two of them. I know he likes that left foot, right foot balance, but the way those two played today, Solanke's no mug. Solanke's a good player. Kulusevski's a good player. Brennan Johnson's a good player. I thought they handled them really, really well today. So, yeah, for me, I think you've got to say that Big Dan Burn is well worth his name on the team sheet. So I'm laughing at comments from Mario here. He said, did he mention he loves Bruno and Sandro? Just to be really clear, he adores Bruno and Sandro. Just in case the chat missed out on his true admiration for Bruno and Sandro as well. Absolutely. We didn't miss out, mate, and you're right to love the pair of them because they're absolutely class. They really, really are. Yeah, Mark is just saying, Mario, do you like Bruno and Sandro? I'm not sure you've been very clear about it. I think he has, Mark. I think he has. Pocket Jody is saying, playing Sandro as the 6 is totally transformed us as a team, playing far more consistently. Such great balance to team. 100%. Pocket, we did a video about that. Go check it out. I think there's a TikTok that takes you straight to the link as well that we did on our TikTok. And we're going to try and do a bit more TikTok-wise, I think, going forward, because it's quite a good little thing to get little clips for when we're talking about things like the Sandro Tonali transformation. I called it a reverse Rodri, as in City have had a mare since Rodri's gone, and we've been transformed since Sandro's gone into the 6, to be fair. More love for Dan Burn. Aaron Taylor saying Dan Burn has been absolutely immense. He really has. He's not the prettiest player in terms of how he plays the game, Dan Burn, but he's colossal. He's so hard to get around. He'll throw himself into absolutely anything that comes across him. A bit like John Terry used to be like. John Terry would throw his face into anything, really. And Dan Burn is from that school of defending. You could see Dan Burn, out of all the players in our lineup, who would survive in 90s football? Dan Burn probably would, because he just loves to defend. Absolutely loves to defend. But yeah, I agree with you, Tim, as well, comment there about Madley. I think Madley is very, very questionable. When I saw him as the ref, my eyes rolled a little bit. And some of them decisions today were really, really poor. Fucking hell. Glenn saying Big Ange on TalkSport suggests Spurs were cheated out of the win today. Well, I'm disappointed with Ange on that one, Glenn. I do like Ange, to be fair, but Kev says he's out of his depth. But I do like Ange, but for me, that is a terrible take on the game. I think if he goes and watches that game again, I just think he's going to maybe regret that statement, because Spurs lost control in the midfield for huge parts of that game, which is why we started to assert our dominance on the game. That's when we got the second goal. We should have got maybe another one after that as well. Should have went in half-time, probably 3-1 up, potentially even 4-1 up. And I think Spurs wouldn't have had any complaints, really, because they lost it there. They really, really did. Yeah, white noise clips, the cheek of Spurs fans complaining about the ref. Well, I said that about Goldbridge. Goldbridge is moaning on social media about the referees' decisions going in the favours of Newcastle. Have you ever heard anything like it? I'm in my 40s, right? Manchester United for 20-odd, 30-odd fucking years conned referees at decision after decision after decision against every other side. And a Man United fan talking about referees' decisions going in the favour of other sides. Get on your bike and keep fucking pedaling, mate. What a load of bollocks that is. I've never heard anything more stupid in my fucking life than that, to be honest with you. Yeah, look at a few more of your comments there, guys. Bramford is saying, Tonali, Brolinton, I think they called them. Let's merge them, Brolinton. Bruno and Joelinton is the best midfield in the Premier League. I wouldn't disagree, Bramford. I really wouldn't. I think at the minute, you wouldn't take anyone else in the midfield, really, apart from them three. I think Arsenal will be concerned about that midfield because, you look against Odegaard and Rice hasn't been great the last few weeks, really, I don't think. I think some of the Arsenal fans are whinging about Rice. We could really take it to Arsenal in that game. I'm going to give my prediction next week, but I'm confident going into that game. I am. I'm not scared of going to Arsenal. I really, really aren't. I think for me, so I was laughing at Stu Mag there. The goal bridge is completely not a helm. I think he just does it for clicks, mate, to be honest with you. You cannot think that was a handball. You're a fucking moron if you did. Him and whoever's running the Paddy Power account today. But yeah, I think those three are just dominant in midfield, and I think they'll be up for the Arsenal game because that's the stage they feel they belong on. Ben saying this game frightened me, and Spurs showed up and played out the skins with the players I had available. I'm beyond impressed with how the team reacted. Discipline, Ben, that's what it is. You can have the quality, you can have the skill and the rakers and Isak's pace and all that stuff, but you got to dig in sometimes, and you got to try and win ugly, and that's what we did today. Absolutely, as Toon Gun says there, the ref tried everything to rob us of the win today. It did feel that way. It really, really did. Ian said that Madley must have lost his watch up his arse. 12 and a half minutes injury time it was. Fucking hell, Ian. That is terrible. I mean, those are the kind of things you got to ask a question of the Premier League, isn't it? Why the fuck have you said 10 minutes there? Where'd you get 10 minutes from? Give me the detailed list of how you got 10 minutes. But they'll never answer the question because they're all shit houses. Consistent is saying Tonali, man of the match, was everywhere. Honourable mention, Burns, Botman and Dubs. Yeah, I mean, Tonali was great today. In bits, I think he wasn't, I suppose, in the game all of the time. But when he was fucking class. As you said, mate, he's way better than Rice. Well, it's hard to disagree, and he's half the price. That could be a great chant. Oh, Tonali, better than Rice and half the fucking price. There we go. We'll get some of that going. A little bit, maybe needs a little bit more rhythm to it, I suppose. But you know where I'm going with it, guys. You know where I'm going with it. Aaron's saying, anyone hear anything about Rio, about their Mancunian Mike Ashley? Maybe their fans should just be grateful. Oh, yes. He's got very quiet, hasn't he? Old Rio for now, which is probably the best thing for everybody's ears because he's an utter knob, to be fair. Brian Bryce said there's a danger of Isak blowing out of his arse. I do worry about Isak's fitness. I think they took him off. I get taking him off. Not taking him off for a solo was a bit weird. But, I don't want him to be fatigued and burnt out. I want him at his best against Arsenal on Tuesday. And I think he will be. I think he'll be relishing that game. Look, I'm not doing a fucking Paul Merson here, but he knows how coveted he is by other teams. And Isak will want to put his chest out and show everybody how good he really is. So, yeah, I think he'll be well up for that game. And against Saliba, who's one of the best centre-halves probably on the planet right now, will be a real interesting test. PJ James is saying, Carney is still talking, make it stop. I'm not a fan of her, to be honest with you. It's now to do with her gender. I just think it's to do with the fact that she's a fucking idiot. I'm equal measures, mate. You can be a female or a male, and I'll still call you a fucking idiot. Stephen said, if we're being honest, we are still a bit off the top teams. Gordon's finishing second half. Can't questions work great. We'll get there, Stephen. We'll get there, mate. I think for what we've done in terms of the restrictions that we've had on us financially with the handcuffs, I think you can't disagree with how well we've played, mate, to be honest with you. So, that's got to be the way we talk about the lineup. There's a lot of players in there who are playing way above their levels, but for me, I just think if we had the money to spend, we probably would have a team full of probably bigger hitters and we'd probably be higher up the league. But I like the way that Eddie's got the best out of those players. I do. AS Winston, credit to you, Chris, for updating your opinion on BDB and Murphy. A work ethic driven by Eddie. Great times, a lesson in life. Yeah, you're not wrong, mate. I'll always admit when I've been too harsh or I've been a bit wrong. I said the same thing about Eddie Howe as well. I thought Eddie had lost this a few weeks back. I said I'm wondering whether it's time for a refresh and manager, and that's because that's the natural cycle of football. You refresh and manager, you get fresh ideas, new tactics, and players go up a level. You bring new players in, that kind of a thing. And it looked like we were kind of going a little bit away. But massive credit to Eddie Howe as well. He's a young manager. He's gone back to the drawing board. He's thought of a different way. He's developed. He's put players in the positions that they're probably better suited to. He's not trying to accommodate anybody. else in a position that isn't their position. And because of that, Eddie's doing well and the team's doing well. And that will always make fans go back and say, do you know what? I was maybe a bit wrong about him, or he's proved me wrong, and I'll hold my hands up and I'll say that. And Big Dan Burn, as a centre-half, brilliant. Not a left-back. Exposed to pace all the time. Don't ever put him there again. And also, the fact that Lewis Hall is fucking class, you wouldn't want to put him there either. And Jacob Murphy has proved a lot of us wrong, including me, because that lad has been absolutely sensational since he's come back into the team. He deserves a spot in the team. Of course, you're saying 7 games so far against the greedy 6. We've only lost 1, 2 draws and 4 wins. Gear up, mate. And Kev says, Ballon d'Or, Rio is a true bellend. He really, really is. You don't see him shouting that for Jacob Murphy, do you, mate, to be fair? Yeah, the Clon lad is saying, keep playing until the big 6 score continues. Maddie needs investigating. Yeah, hard to disagree. We've had a super chat in from Sean. Thank you very much, Sean. Really appreciate that, buddy. Thanks for your generosity. PJ saying, NU won in a trot. Ange, like all the Spurs, are deluded. Where did he get the idea that they won? Dubravka made 1 save, that's right. How many did their keeper make? Who played really well? He did play really well, PG. He really, really did. I mean, he didn't play as well as Ali because he's kind of making him out to be like, but, he did well for his debut, to be fair. But, I just thought, we were much better, for large parts of that game, to be honest with you. And Carlos says, Chris, you are a trooper. Thank you very much, mate. Really appreciate that. It was very nice to get compliment like that, mate. Absolutely. We've got ENA saying, Ange saying the ref and liners were against them and they deserved to win. Wow. His headers fell clean off. Maybe he's got the flu and he's been snorting fucking Lemsip or something like that because he's completely lost it, because there's no way in God's green earth did they deserve to win that game whatsoever. Ryan says, James Maddison is a pussy. I'd yell and scream at him for that pathetic dive. I hate that about Maddison. He's such a talented player, but he lets himself down when he does shit like that. He really, really does. And that's the bad side of the game with Maddison. As Aaron says there, I wish we'd got Maddison last season. Seems to pull a lot of strings. They were better when he came on, no doubt. And he always managed to con the referee around the box as well. I think if Maddison was our player, we'd adore him, really, but he's not. So you hate him when you're playing against him, I suppose. So we've got here a few more comments, guys. We'll get a few more comments in. Aaron saying Miggy made them a lasagna. Yeah, for that cooking video. Great stuff, mate. Absolutely great stuff. Andy H is saying, no, not one for the purists, but you also win dirty sometimes. Onwards and upwards to where the lads. Absolutely, Andy. We've got to win them ugly games. You don't win titles without winning ugly games, right? Man United did it for 30-odd years. Arsenal did it. Chelsea did it. You got to win ugly games sometimes. I'm not saying we're going to win the fucking title, but you know what I'm saying? You don't win games and get quality positions unless you win those ugly games, really. Carlos is saying, and just sharing a bag of gear with Mercer. I wouldn't be surprised, maybe. PG says he should have stayed in Neighbours. He's a twat. I've always really liked him. I like his kind of no-nonsense talking to the press and how he doesn't let things faze him. But the problem is when you shove a microphone under somebody's nose straight after a game like that was really kind of end-to-end, fast-paced, some questionable decisions in it for both sides. You're always going to have a little bit of your emotions high. He goes home, has a kind of 4x, and calms down all that. And you might, sorry, Australians, he couldn't resist. He might be all right after that. You know what I mean? He might ring them 2 guys, the guys on the beach, the 2 blokes who get the calls from the Foster helpline. He might get that potentially. They might just whinge about the game and feel better in the morning about it. But yes, we'll probably do an aftermath as well, which I always do when I think about things just straight after the game. And then maybe I calm down a little bit. But I won't be changing any of my opinions on this game. Spoiler alert, because I think we definitely deserve that win today. Absolutely. As Phil says, Andrew's looking for scraps. He's massively under the cosh, mate. He's been under the cosh for ages. The gut reaction said, saved energy today for the cup this week. I do agree with that. Good result with some left in the tank for Tuesday. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to that game. I really, really am. And Tony says, Tottenham get battered everywhere they go. Fully deserved, Chris. And man of the match, Tino. He was outstanding. Great to see the bot man back. Absolutely. Cushy says, how can you knee someone in the face 7 foot in the air and not get booked? Well, that is a good question for Andy Madley, I would say. Another comment from Ryan saying, the only thing that would have made my day is Willock score and do the basketball celebration in front of those Cockney bastards. I did see a bit with Joe Linton. I don't know if you saw it when he went to the sideline and I think he won a corner. They're obviously giving it to him. He just smiled at them with that big beam and Joe Linton smile and wound them up. It was quality. It was absolute quality. It really, really was. George is saying Ange needs to be careful at his age. He might hurt his hip or drop his Werthers. I do like him. I do honestly like Ange. But if he said that, he has completely lost the plot. Colin says he fancies Brighton to beat Arsenal later. Do you know what? I don't know if that would be good for us, Colin, or not. I wouldn't want an angry Arsenal coming at us on Tuesday. I would like an Arsenal to come a little bit complacent on Tuesday, but then if they get beat, maybe their heads are down. Oh, you really, really put the cat amongst the pigeons there, that one, Colin, mate. Very good. Very, very good. Ian says, those fucking soccer Saturday wankers are shit as well. More personality in the cemetery. All fucking box ticking fuckers. Do you know what, mate? You're right. And that's why people watch fan media. Like all you wonderful people are watching us right now. You're watching the lads at the Toon Review, no doubt, for their brilliant commentary as well. People watch fan media because they're sick of these wankers on the TV with their biased opinions, and trying to create transfer stories that are nothing by saying that this team should go and sign that player, that star player from that team at a cheaper rate than what he's worth. It's all bullshit. You get some content creators running to suckle at the fucking teeth of these bastards. You won't find me doing that. They don't want me anyway. I'm too fucking old and I'm too outspoken anyway. But I won't be doing that kind of a shit because I'd rather produce content for real fans to sit and enjoy, not pay 180 quid a month for either, to watch and feel that they can comment and feel safe to comment without getting jumped on either. And that's what these wankers in the mainstream media do. Disappointing that good guys get dragged into it. Like McCoist as well. I hope he does not change the way that he is, because McCoist is a really likeable guy, even though he works for Talk Shite and them lot. Tony says 360 watching, 95 likes. Well said, Tony. Get the likes up, guys. It's only a little thumb button. Costs you now. Just smash the button. Click like if you hate Sky Sports and TNT. There we go. See how many likes we can get from that. They're never getting me on. Philip says Sky pundits are all scripted. They are, and they've got the charisma of a bride shitting herself on her wedding day, mate. It's just minging. Absolutely minging. Absolute bollocks. And they hate talking about any other team that isn't the top 4 or top 5 teams. Fuck them all, I say. Go watch proper content creators who talk about teams with passion and do more research than these dickheads do as well. Ian says Jeff Stelling being replaced by an Alco X2 beer presenter. I don't really know. I haven't watched that show for ages, Ian. I'd rather watch my cat take a shit, to be brutally honest with you. Adrian has put this comment up so much. I'm going to share it, Ian, Adrian, sorry, because you've done it. Thank God we didn't all sleep with the kangaroos. I don't know if that is some kind of a Godfather reference to Ange. I think it might be, because he does look a little bit like it. He does sound a little bit like it as well. Tim says, special about Bruno, classy. Yeah, Bruno is just, he's meant, we don't want to lose him. Him and Tonali are clicking so well in that midfield. They really, really are. Terrific saying was mad that McCoy's gave Brandon Austin, I called him Brian Austin, didn't I? Wasn't a kid at Beverly Hills. Shows how much I was paying attention there. He was not man of the match at all. He was absolutely bang average, to be brutally honest with you. George says he'd rather watch my cat take a shit too. It'd be a lot easier than watching Mark's cat take a shit, George, because it would be every fucking where. It'd be like a game of tennis watching that cat flying around, mate. By my word. But I think that's us pretty much done, guys. We've had a great chat about the game. Absolutely brilliant. Mark's got to get it in. #podcast. Absolutely brilliant. Result today. We're fifth. We're tied with Chelsea, who people are talking about in a title race. Will they talk about us in a title race? Will they fuck? But that's what we want. 6 in a row. Going into the game on Tuesday night. Absolutely buzzing. No fear of Arsenal. Let's just put in a great performance. Try and get a draw. Get them back to St James's Park. Fucking batter them. That's what I say. But me and Mark will be back with what's going on at 9:30 on Monday. Jump in the lives, guys. Let us know what you all think. And then we'll be back with some previews for Arsenal and a post-match on Tuesday. We're hoping Newcastle have got the job done once again. Have a cracking weekend, everybody. It's always fun when Newcastle win the early kickoff. The rest of the weekend seems much more happier, doesn't it, as well? But have a belter. Enjoy yourselves. We'll catch us on Monday. See you later.